All right, let's jump into another deep dive. Today we're looking at this business school case study. It's called Startup Story. And basically it chronicles like this whole crazy rise and fall of a tech startup
Okay.
called Pertinent. And oh man, get ready.
Yeah.
It is a wild ride. We're talking multiple software rebuilds.
Wow.
We get into venture capital, all
Oh,
that.
yeah. The VC world.
And then like the climax is a disciplinary hearing.
Oh, wow. Okay. It sounds intense.
It's pretty fascinating. I think what makes it even more interesting is that we see all of this through the eyes of Robbie. He was Pertinent CTO.
Oh, interesting.
And yeah, it's raw, it's personal. So you really feel the weight of these lessons. You know?
Yeah, for sure. When
Like
it's that personal, I think you can learn a lot more from it.
Absolutely.
Oh.
So, okay, let's rewind back to like 2013. Our main character, Robbie, he's this young like tech whiz,
Yeah.
super talented.
Okay.
He's working at American Express. He's got the skills. He's got the drive. But, he's also got that entrepreneurial itch. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, for sure. That desire to break free and build your own thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that yearning takes him to London, to Silicon Roundabout.
Okay.
It's this like buzzing hub for tech innovation. And it's actually at a festival.
A tech festival.
Yeah, the Digital Shoreditch Festival, where he meets Ruth and Andy.
Gotcha.
Now, Ruth is she's a change management consultant. Like, she's a veteran in that space.
So she knows her stuff.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And Andy, her husband, is this, like, sales pro
Nice.
who knows Yammer, like, inside and out.
Okay.
So they're on the hunt for a technical co-founder to bring this vision of theirs to life.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see how the three of them would be a good fit, like complement each other's skills.
Oh, totally. And their vision is this software platform that's going to revolutionize how companies handle change.
Ambitious.
Totally. And Robbie, I mean, with his tech skills,
Yeah.
and he wants to do a startup. He seems like the perfect fit.
Definitely. And so they hit it off.
Instantly. They see, they recognize the power of what they could do together, with their combined expertise.
Yeah.
And they call the software Pertinent.
Catchy.
Yeah, they want to build something impactful and, well, pertinent
Makes sense.
to the business world.
It does. It does. So they're, what are they initially building? Like, what's the first product?
Well, the initial plan was to just develop like a Yammer add-on.
Oh, okay. So to work within that existing platform.
Yeah, leverage Andy's connections, his experience in that space.
Yeah.
But they pretty quickly decide, like, no, let's aim higher.
Interesting.
Let's build a standalone platform,
Okay.
accessible to everyone.
Wow. So that's a big...
Not just Yammer users.
Right away, yeah. Expanding the scope a lot.
Huge.
Yeah.
It's a gamble. And it's a gamble that, so many startups face.
Totally. Like playing it safe versus aiming for the moon. Makes sense.
So with Robbie on board, he's the CTO.
Okay.
He's got a 20% equity stake.
All right.
Pertinent officially takes flight. They outsource development to this Indian company called Slam Dunk Tech. And their initial focus is on these like key change management concepts.
Like what?
So think dashboards with pages for, people, benefits, risks, impacts, all those things.
Gotcha. So like trying to systematize that whole process.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But here's where Robbie starts to feel like a little bit of trouble brewing. Even though Ruth is like the expert, right, in change management,
right,
the product design just feels murky to him.
Interesting. So he's not really clear on the direction.
He's not entirely sure why certain pages are prioritized, how they all connect.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt that on a project? Like the why is missing?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah, it's tough.
And it gets trickier.
Okay.
Because, Ruth wants to launch quickly. So she's asking for these constant tweaks.
Oh, no.
Like, adding features, changing labels, and it's this back and forth.
I see.
Putting a lot of pressure on the developers.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's that startup dilemma, right?
Totally.
Speed versus a solid foundation.
Yeah.
Tough balance.
It's like building a house on sand.
Yeah. And so what happens?
The cracks start to show. The development costs.
Yeah.
They just go crazy. They started with a budget of £4,000.
Okay.
For Slam Dunk Tech.
Mm-hmm.
A year later, they've spent double.
Wow.
And the code base, because of all these changes, is a mess.
Ugh, that's rough.
They're like hemorrhaging cash, and they don't even have a product that they're confident to show.
Ooh, it's that classic startup thing.
It is.
Where iterating quickly can really backfire.
Totally. You're basically paying the price for not getting that initial design, right?
Totally. It's hard to admit, but sometimes starting fresh is just better.
Yeah, it's like, sometimes you need surgery, not just a Band-Aid. So they call in the cavalry.
Who do they get?
They call Robbie's friend Rex.
Okay.
Now, Rex is like a coding whiz.
Mm-hmm.
He takes one look at the code. He's like, guys, we need to do a full rebuild.
Wow, really? Scrap it all?
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And he suggests using Node.js for the back end. It's a more flexible, modern language.
Interesting. So this is their first big rebuild.
It is. It's like a turning point in the whole story. Imagine,
months of work.
Months of work gone.
Down the drain.
Poof. But, I mean, it shows you how important those initial design choices are.
For sure.
Because you can't just slap Band-Aids on things forever.
Nope. Sometimes you got to rip it off and start over.
Exactly. Sometimes you need that surgery.
Exactly.
Right.
So, are they funded at this point?
No, and the clock is ticking.
Oh, boy. So that's where the fun begins.
Oh, yeah. This is where the funding roller coaster starts.
Buckle up.
Right. So Ruth and Andy hit the pavement.
Okay.
They're pitching Pertinent to investors.
Yeah.
Like all over the place. Anyone who will listen. Meanwhile, Robbie's like really feeling the pressure.
Yeah.
Turns to his family.
Oh, wow. So it's getting personal.
It does. It does. And his parents, they're amazing.
Yeah.
They offer him a choice. They say, look, we can either invest in Pertinent.
Okay.
Or if you want to start something completely new, we'll back you.
Wow. That's a lot of trust.
Yeah.
But also a lot of pressure.
Oh, huge pressure. Right.
Yeah.
Do you stick with this, stick with the vision even though it's been rough? Or do you pivot,
Yeah, tough call.
Yeah, so what does Robbie do?
I'm on the edge of my seat.
He doubles down on Pertinent.
Wow. Okay. He's going for it.
He's convinced that with Rex on board and this, clearer vision,
Yeah.
that they can turn things around. And guess what?
What?
He's right. They secure 400,000 pounds.
Whoa. That's a game changer.
Right. It's a mix of VC money and contributions from family and friends.
So they're all in.
They are all in.
Yeah.
And everything changes now.
Yeah.
They go full-time on Pertinent. They rent an office in London's tech scene. They start building their dream team.
Okay, so this is where it gets real.
Oh, yeah. They've entered the big leagues.
So tell me about this dream team. Who do they bring on?
So they bring on Edna. She's a junior developer, super eager.
Nice.
They get Dora and Sophia, this dynamic marketing duo.
Okay, I like it.
Then they bring on Bao, another amazing coder.
So they're stacking the deck.
Oh, yeah. And then they get Chuck, who's he's the UX designer.
All right, so they've got all the bases covered.
Yeah. They're firing on all cylinders at this point. It's exciting. There's so much energy. Yeah.
You can feel it, yeah. That startup energy is contagious.
Oh, totally. They have the talent, the resources, the drive, everything.
But I bet it's not all smooth sailing from here.
Oh, not at all. Managing a team, especially in this high-pressure startup environment,
Yeah.
it brings its own set of challenges.
Always does.
Right. And remember those modest salaries they set for themselves?
Oh, yeah, the founder salaries?
Well, in London, you got to pay people.
Yeah, London's expensive.
So they're paying their new hires way more.
Ouch. So that adds another layer of pressure to generate revenue.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay, so they're working late nights, team lunches, building this dream.
All of it. All of it. Even Edna brings her dog to the office.
Oh, that's cute.
It's like a whole vibe,
I love that. So what are they building? What's the key feature?
Well, that's where swim lanes comes in. It's their flagship feature.
Swim lanes. Okay, what is that?
It's basically this visually stunning,
Okay.
dynamic take on the traditional Gantt chart.
Oh, wow. So a project management tool?
Yeah, it lays out tasks and timelines.
That's cool. So they're innovating in that space.
Yeah, and swim lanes becomes their key selling point.
Yeah, I bet.
They're showcasing look, we can innovate.
Right.
We're doing cool things. They're making progress, but the road ahead,
Yeah.
it's not all roses. You know what I mean?
I can imagine. There's always bumps in the road, especially with startups.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, and all those early decisions, they kind of start to catch up with them.
Oh, no. What do you mean?
Remember they chose Mongo?
Right. For its flexibility.
Yeah, well, it turns out as their user base grows,
Oh,
it becomes a real problem.
really?
Yeah. I mean, Mongo, it's great for rapid development,
Right.
and if your data structure is changing a lot,
Makes sense.
but it's not as efficient as a normal SQL database.
Oh.
Especially when you have tons of data and you need to do these complex queries.
So it doesn't scale well.
Not really.
So those like snappy response times they had in the beginning,
Yeah.
they start to disappear.
Totally. Users start seeing delays.
Oh, man.
Especially when they're looking at big data sets or they want to run reports.
Oof, I bet that's frustrating.
It's a classic example of how an early decision made with the best intentions can come back to bite you.
Totally. It's a reminder that you always have to think about scalability.
Absolutely.
From day one.
It's not just what works now, but what happens when you grow. Exactly. And to make matters worse, they're also fighting all these bugs.
Oh, no, from all the new features.
Yeah, remember, they were moving so fast.
Right, trying to get the product out there.
So testing kind of took a back seat.
Makes sense in a startup environment, but...
It's like changing a tire on a moving car.
Right.
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
So now they're dealing with performance issues, a ton of bugs, and they still need to convince those free trial users to pay.
Oh, man. That's a lot of pressure.
You can feel the tension.
Yeah. And on top of all of this, Robbie starts voicing a concern that's been bugging him.
What's that?
Their whole positioning is a change management tool.
Yeah.
It's not really resonating with customers.
I see. It's a tough concept to grasp, maybe.
And even harder to turn into a product that people actually want to buy.
It shows you how important it is to really nail your value proposition.
Totally.
What problem are you solving, and who are you solving it for?
Yeah, if you can't answer those questions clearly, you're in trouble.
They realize they need to change things up. Find a niche.
So what do?
Well, remember swim lanes.
Right. They're awesome project management tool.
But everyone loved.
Yeah. What about it?
Well, they realize they've accidentally created something great.
Really?
They have a project management tool that people actually want.
Wow.
And that's a huge market.
It is.
Yeah.
So they decide to just go all in on project management.
They do. It's a gamble.
It is. They're betting the farm.
But they need to start making money.
So they rebrand Pertinent as a project management tool.
Yep. Big change.
But there's a catch, right?
Always a catch.
What is it?
This pivot requires another rebuild.
Oh, no, not again. Their fourth one.
The fourth one, Mongo and Angular just aren't the right tools anymore.
I see.
So they got to switch back to a SQL database.
Okay.
And find a new front-end framework.
What do they choose?
React.
React. Okay. So are they on a tight deadline for this?
Oh, yeah. They need to be ready for the start of 2016 budget cycle.
Why that date?
It's when companies decide what software they're going to buy. Oh, I see. It's their last chance to make a big splash.
Totally. The pressure is on.
And then to add even more pressure,
Right.
they win free office space at Microsoft Ventures.
Wow, that's amazing.
It is a huge opportunity.
Right.
But they're under a microscope now.
Oh, yeah. Everyone's watching them.
They got to impress the other startups, the mentors, the investors.
So the pressure is like 10 times worse now.
Yeah, a high-stakes environment.
So the dev team is working like crazy.
All-nighters, I bet.
Pulling all-nighters just to hit that deadline.
It's crunch time.
And this is where the cracks in their partnership start to show.
Between Robbie and Ruth.
Yeah, Robbie is the CTO.
Yeah.
He's focused on building a solid product.
Makes sense.
But he's worried about all the new features and the lack of a clear roadmap.
I see. He doesn't want to be everything to everyone.
Right. And Ruth, on the other hand,
Yeah.
she wants to impress the investors.
She wants all the bells and whistles.
Exactly. So you've got these two clashing perspectives.
Happens all the time.
And it leads to arguments, with Robbie feeling like he's not being heard.
Right.
And Ruth feeling like Robbie isn't delivering.
So their communication is breaking down.
Completely. They're not on the same page.
And in a startup, that's a recipe for disaster.
It is. And then, to make matters worse,
What now?
Bear, one of their coders, gets stuck in China because of visa issues.
Oh, no. That's bad.
Robbie tries to find a replacement, but the new guy's just not good enough.
Oh, man.
So Robbie has to let him go after a few days.
One setback after another.
I know. It's really pushing Robbie to his limit, you know?
So what does he do?
He tries to talk to Ruth, have an honest conversation.
About what?
About prioritizing features, about scaling back their ambitions.
Okay, so being realistic.
Yeah, but Ruth, she's not having it.
Oh, no. She wants to keep pushing forward.
With everything.
This is not good.
It's a recipe for disaster. And yeah, their conversation explodes into this huge argument.
Oh, wow. Each blaming the other.
Totally. Robbie feels like he's carrying the whole development process.
Yeah.
And Ruth feels like Robbie's not a team player.
So it's a total communication breakdown.
It is. And it sets the stage for what happens next.
Okay, so launch day arrives.
Yeah. And it's a mixed bag of emotions.
How so?
They get Pertinent up and running.
That's good, right?
It is no major meltdowns or anything.
So they pull it off.
They did, against all odds.
Yeah.
But you can feel the exhaustion.
Yeah, I bet the team's got to be drained.
Oh, yeah, both physically and emotionally. They put everything into this project.
But the question is, will it be enough?
Well, that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
The answer is no.
Oh, no.
Despite the initial buzz and interest, the conversion rate from free trials to paying customers is just terrible.
How bad are we talking?
Like really bad. They're not making enough money to survive.
That's rough.
So what happens?
This is where it gets heartbreaking, Robbie.
Yeah.
He needs a break, you know?
After all that.
So he goes on a snowboarding vacation.
He comes back.
Yeah.
And there's an email from Ruth waiting for him.
What does it say?
It's asking him to come to a disciplinary hearing.
Whoa. What? Seriously?
Yeah. They're accusing him of gross misconduct.
What? Like what kind of misconduct?
All sorts of things, like failing to follow instructions,
Oh.
prioritizing the wrong work, damaging the company's reputation, disrespecting Ruth.
Wow, that's a lot.
It is. The trust is just completely gone.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
So Robbie, he's feeling betrayed. He's disillusioned.
Rightfully so.
So he resigns.
He doesn't even try to fight it.
He just knows that Pertinent, the dream he poured his heart into, it's over.
It's a sad ending to a story that started with so much promise.
Yeah, it's like watching a house of cards just completely fall apart.
Yeah.
So Robbie's gone, and the rest of that dev team, they see the writing on the wall, right?
Yeah.
They know it's over.
Yeah.
So they leave too.
Wow, so it all just falls apart.
Pretty much Rex, Robbie's friend.
The coding with. Yeah, he tries to keep things going.
Really?
He's got bills to pay,
Right.
But it's a losing battle.
Yeah.
And even Andy, he ends up going back to the corporate world.
Oh, wow. So it's really the end for Pertinent.
Yeah, by 2017, it's done. It's a tough lesson.
It is.
That even with all the talent, the passion, the money, success is never guaranteed.
Especially in the startup world, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's so complex.
Yeah.
So many moving parts.
It is.
And a great idea is only the beginning.
Right. You got to execute.
I have to. And you got to navigate the challenges.
Yeah, and keep a strong team.
Exactly. So looking back at Pertinent, what are the big takeaways for you?
I think one of the most obvious ones is like communication.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Especially between the co-founders.
Right. Robbie, Ruth, and Andy, they had this shared vision.
Yeah.
But when things got tough, their communication just fell apart.
Absolutely.
And it led to all these misunderstandings.
Yeah.
And then ultimately, the whole partnership collapsed.
Yeah. It's a reminder that communication is so much more than just talking.
Right. It's about listening.
Understanding each other's perspectives.
And like finding ways to actually resolve conflict, in a healthy way.
Exactly. Have you ever been in a situation where like bad communication just derailed a whole project?
Oh, all the time.
It's the worst.
It is. And in a startup, it can be fatal.
For sure. And it wasn't just between them, right?
What do you mean?
Their communication about the product itself was messy too.
You mean the whole feature creep thing?
Yeah. They were constantly adding new things.
Right, trying to please everyone.
And they lost sight of what made Pertinent special.
It's like they were trying to build a Swiss Army knife when they just needed a scalpel.
Yeah, a good analogy. Trying to be everything to everyone usually means you end up being nothing to anyone.
Right.
It's a tough lesson, but a crucial one.
Focus on your strengths.
Exactly. Solve one problem really well.
And don't get distracted.
So true. And then there's that big technical decision.
Oh, you mean Mongo?
Yeah, it worked great at first.
Right, for rapid development.
But then it really bit them when they tried to scale.
Totally. It's a good reminder to think long-term.
Yeah, not just what's easy right now.
Like choosing a car based on how fast it goes, but not thinking about gas mileage.
Exactly, or safety features. Those things matter eventually.
Big time. And, we can't forget about the people.
The human cost, yeah.
The long hours, the pressure, the stress.
Takes its toll.
Robbie reached his breaking point.
It's a reminder that building a company isn't just about, hitting those metrics.
It's about people.
Exactly. You got to create a sustainable environment.
Yeah, where people feel valued and supported.
Otherwise, you burn everyone out.
And the company fails.
It's sad because Pertinent's story is it's a cautionary tale.
Yeah.
But it's also a story of ambition.
Innovation.
Yeah, and resilience.
Even in failure, there's so much to learn.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with this thought.
Okay.
What can we learn from Pertinent that we can actually use in our own lives?
Right. How can we avoid making the same mistakes?
And how can we build something that really matters?
Yeah, something that lasts.
It's a good reminder that success is never a straight line.
There's going to be bumps along the way.
Setbacks, challenges, you name it.
But it's how we learn from those experiences.
That really makes the difference.
It's all about adapting and growing.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the crazy world of startups.
Yeah, this one was a wild ride.
It was. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing the boundaries.
We'll see you on the next deep dive.